only Christianity spread the image of God.
Except that you just contradicted yourself. You're describing the atheist
Now you
position,
or
and then
what?
suddenly
Oh,
described it and
this is my
suddenly claimed that
question.
it was the Christian position.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are sitting down with a debate that got real fast. On one side, you have Aron arguing that human morality is something we built ourselves, carved out of survival, cooperation, and millions of years of needing each other. On the other side, Stuart, insisting that without God, none of it holds together, that love, forgiveness, and goodness all trace back to faith. What follows is a back and forth on apes, empathy, free riders, and where right and wrong actually come from, and at least one moment where somebody completely contradicts himself without realizing it. Stick around all the way through because the strongest exchange does not land at the start. It sneaks up on you in the middle, and I do not want you to miss the moment it clicks. And do me a quick favor while you are here. Drop a comment and let me know where in the world you are watching from. I genuinely love seeing how far this channel reaches. Alright, enough from me. Let's get into it.
Running around. If it's simply evolution and there is no God and Christianity didn't exist, I don't know why we wouldn't do that. We are raised red in tooth and claw. It's an ape. We came
Shut
from
up.
we came from apes. Why not just love one another? All
Yeah,
of it.
so if we're a social animal, because we are apes, and therefore we're entirely reliant on a social structure in lieu of there being a God, because there is no God. So the one thing that we have to rely on is somebody who stands by their word and who shows empathy and for his family, friends, and fellows. And shut up! Stop it! I'm on camera.
That's not for you, Stuart, I swear, right? Aron's a little more polite than that generally. Aron, mind your manners. My goodness. No, you're all good.
So being as we are apes, and we're all equal here, we're all part of nature, not apart from it. And there is no outside force to come save us from ourselves. We are our only hope. We have to help each other. This is one of the reasons. This is how morality evolved. There was a time in our evolution where we didn't have big brains yet, and we didn't have quite the muscular strength that chimpanzees and gorillas had. But what we did have was a stronger sense of empathy than they have now, wherein some terrible predator attacks the weakest or slowest of us, and suddenly they realize that they have to face all of us, that we're not running away to leave the slow and the weak behind. We're all turning and facing that enemy, all of us at once. And every big cat realized, hey, I can't kill all fucking 40 of them, so I have to back the fuck off. That's what made us a great species. That's what enabled our intelligence to grow. That's how we became moral.
And that is exactly where it stops. Empathy. We don't get love, and if we just go with the empathy,
how do you not get love from empathy? I don't.
So
how do you make these assumptions?
For example, O.J. Simpson's lawyer talked about how if you look in the shame and honor cultures, or if you look from evolution, and then you all of a sudden turn towards Christianity, then you're going to see a type of self-sacrificing love that has never been part of any other culture. So you have
that's been part of every culture.
If you're simply going to go from the empathetic side of things, yes, there's empathy.
Yeah. So it's been part of every culture.
But ultimately, you have to land with empathy. It's an atheist overreach to say, I'm going to love somebody across the globe, and I'm going to fight for human rights, no matter what their consciousness rationale, no matter what suffering level. No, only Christianity spread the image of God.
Except that you just contradicted yourself. You're describing the atheist
Now
position,
and
then suddenly described it and suddenly claimed that it was the Christian position.
Okay, this is the part where the whole God equals morality myth quietly falls apart, and most people watching probably did not even catch it. Because when Stuart frames it like, without God, why wouldn't we just treat each other like animals? He is accidentally admitting that his entire moral system is just fear of a supervisor. And that is the part that gets me. If the only thing stopping you from hurting people is an invisible authority watching you, that is not morality. That is surveillance, and Aron answers it perfectly. Aron said this, "We are our only hope. We have to help each other. This is how morality evolved." You have to understand why that lands so hard. He is not guessing. Cooperation is not some sweet bedtime story. It is the reason our ancestors survived at all. Here is what people do not realize. There was a real stretch of human history where we were slow, soft, and weak compared to the predators around us. We did not have claws. We did not have power. What we had was each other. Aron paints it so well with the group turning to face the predator together. Aron said this, "I can't kill all 40 of them, so I have to back off. That's how we became moral." That is the origin of right and wrong. Not a stone tablet, but a tribe that learned the lonely ones die and the loyal ones live. Then Stuart tries to claim self-sacrificing love as some Christian invention. Stuart said this, self-sacrificing love that has never been part of any other culture. And that is just flatly wrong. Parents have given their lives for their children since long before any church existed. But the real moment, Aron catches him cold. Aron said this, you just contradicted yourself. You're describing the atheist position and then suddenly claim that it was the Christian position. Mask off.
This is my question. I get to end here. So for me, it's
That
the
is fair.
selfish knave that unfortunately would break down Aron's pretty little picture right there, where yes, we do want to fight the lion or we do want to team up and work together. But ultimately, if I'm a free rider and it's not going to really hurt the team, why can't I just be a free rider? As opposed
So what
to
you're talking about is the aberration that can't be relied upon, that doesn't have the empathy, that doesn't back their word. And so through a matter of population mechanics, those people tend to be removed from the gene pool, either by being ostracized, imprisoned, or killed. So one
No.
way or the other, they're
No,
out.
I can be very good at stealing with my hedge fund, for example. I can cheat the IRS very easily and be
That
just
has nothing to do with what I just said.
wrong with that, though, from your
I
perspective.
said from a matter of population mechanics, such people as you're describing tend to be identified and ostracized.
Okay, but not really. Not in my neck of the woods. Maybe yours, maybe in Texas, but I live in Fairfield County, Connecticut, and those who get away with all kinds of things, whether it's cheating on your wife or cheating on your taxes, they're not really ostracized. I'm going to be real. If anything, they're
You're right. They're Republicans.
Well, no, Connecticut's fairly blue now. I wish it was.
Yeah, but in Texas, they're all Republicans. The people that you're describing right now.
No, Texas is getting more and more blue, and Austin is.
Except the people that you're describing right now are Republicans.
Oh, I'm
The
talking
center
about.
of hypocrisy, definitely GOP.
And to end, since this was my question, to end, this connects to Aron pushing me on Christian values, and another one that was unique was forgiveness to Christianity.
Which you don't have.
As our nation has become a little more secularized, fortunately, atheism will decrease in the years to come, according to Pew Research. And
Fortunately not, because it's growing by attenuation, not birth rates.
Unless Aron increases, and he's already doing a great job.
No, because they habitually never count for attenuation. That's how atheism grows. Atheism doesn't grow by birth rates. It grows by attenuation.
Yeah, and you guys aren't going to have any more babies. That's the problem.
But we don't grow by birth rates.
Now watch how Stuart tries to escape, because this is the classic move. He throws out the free rider problem. Stuart said this, if I'm a free rider and it's not going to really hurt the team, why can't I just be a free rider? And honestly, it is a fair question, but here's what he misses completely. Aron does not flinch. Aron said this, through a matter of population mechanics, those people tend to be removed from the gene pool. And that is the part I love, because it is grounded in something real. You have to understand, selfish cheaters are not a loophole that breaks cooperation. They are the exact pressure that built our instinct to detect liars. Humans evolved an almost supernatural radar for people who take and never give. It is why betrayal feels so disgusting to us on a gut level. Then Stuart says the quiet part out loud. Stuart said this, I can be very good at stealing with my hedge fund. I can cheat the IRS very easily. Think about what just happened. He is trying to prove morality needs God by bragging about how easily he could get away with cheating. My guy, you just made Aron's point for him. The fact that you can cheat and still picture yourself as one of the good ones is religion's oldest trick. Do whatever you want all week, then feel clean again on Sunday. And here's the line that quietly wins the whole exchange. Aron said this, atheism doesn't grow by birth rates, it grows by attenuation. People are not born skeptics, they arrive there by thinking, by questioning, by refusing to inherit a belief they were never once allowed to examine. And to me, that is far more honest than being handed a worldview before you can even talk.
So it doesn't matter how fast Christianity grows or Islam grows by birth rates, because when Islam moves into Europe, for example, then their problem is attenuation, so that a significant percentage of their adults aren't Muslim anymore. And the same thing's going on with Christianity, where they lose a huge amount. They lose at minimum of 20%. Minimum.
When you say attenuation, break that down.
This is when people no longer believe.
Yeah.
So Daniel Dennett and his wife started the Clergy Project, and they realized that they're getting a lot of preachers who contact them because they no longer buy the bullshit that they've been selling for so many decades.
Yeah.
But here they are stuck in this job. How do you move from what career would you move to from preacher? Used car salesman? What else can you do? So they reach out to this network, the Clergy Project Network. And one of the statistics that they're noticing is that people, when they realize they no longer believe in Christianity, they come out being more liberal, they're more tolerant, they're more curious, they want to go back to college, they want to learn the things that they never learned before. They end up being just on the whole better people.
Well, that'll be our next debate. Wait, Ryan, forgiveness, it came from the cross of Christ. And as secularization grows a little bit, not atheism, secularization, now you see forgiveness start to break down, especially in political circles and especially in the echo chambers. And as objective morality breaks down, now we're all shouting over each other. Christians were supposed to be the preachy ones, but now all of a sudden everybody is preachy but Christians. And so for a forgiving God is what we all desire, and that has a lot to do
Except that we don't all desire that.
Well, if you want to love and actually grow the population,
if you want to love and grow and not believe in impossible nonsense for no good reason, then you don't want a God.
Okay, and this is where it gets genuinely fascinating. Aron brings up the Clergy Project, and a lot of viewers probably assume he is making it up. He has said this. Daniel Dennett and his wife started the Clergy Project. That is a real documented thing. A private support network created back in 2011 for pastors and preachers who stood at the pulpit every single Sunday and slowly stopped believing a word of it. Sit with that for a second. These are people whose entire income, identity, and community depended on faith, and they still could not keep pretending. If religion were as obvious as Stuart insists, that network would have 0 members. It has hundreds. And then Aron drops what I think is the most underrated moment of the whole thing. Aron said this: they end up being just on the whole better people. Notice he is not saying they get richer or happier. He is saying that when people stop fearing a cosmic judge and start thinking for themselves, they get more curious, more tolerant, more willing to learn. That is the exact opposite of what we were always warned about. We were told losing faith turns you into a monster. Turns out, for a lot of people, it just turns you into a grown-up. Stuart's comeback? Stuart said this: forgiveness, it came from the cross of Christ. And here is what gets me. Forgiveness existed thousands of years before that. Mercy toward enemies, reconciliation between rivals, second chances, these show up in some of the oldest written legal codes we have ever pulled out of the ground. Forgiveness is not a brand someone owns. It is a survival strategy our species figured out long ago. And Aron closes it perfectly. Aron said this: if you want to love and grow and not believe in impossible nonsense for no good reason, then you don't want a God. That is not anger. That is not edginess. That is just a man saying you are allowed to be good without being afraid. And that is the entire debate right there. So what do you guys think of this? Leave your thoughts down in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.